Okay, next topic is GIS operations. Okay, so the various operations in GIS are spatial data input, attribute data input and management, data display, data exploration, data analysis, and GIS modeling. Okay, so we can discuss one by one. First one is spatial data input. Okay, so for analysis in GIS, we require spatial data. That is, data is the main component for GIS analysis, and this spatial data is acquired from existing data, or we can create a new data. Okay, that is first existing data means existing data includes paper map or digital map. That is, for example, we want to analyze some area on our Earth surface, and the paper map or digital map of that area is available for us. So what we will do, we will scan that paper map or digital map which is available for us, and it is used as the input data in our computer. Okay, so we are using the existing data of that area, and this existing data may be in the form of map, as paper map or digital map. So we are using this existing data as the spatial data input. Okay, that is one method. And in some cases, this map or the digital map or paper map of that area is not available for us. So we have to locate the features of that area. That is, we have to do some survey work, field survey work, and we have to find out the location of that area. That is, we have to find out the latitude and longitude of some features of that area, so that we can input this data as the spatial data input. That is, new data is created from satellite image or GPS data or from field survey. That is, if the map is not available for that particular area, we have to use GPS data. That is, we are using GPS equipment and going to that area and taking the location data of some features of that area, and we are using this as the spatial data input. Or we can do some field survey using total station, and we can find the location of some features of that area. And also we can use satellite image. Okay, so we can take satellite image and georeference the features of the required area, and we can use this as the spatial data input. Okay, so here we are creating new data using satellite image, GPS or field survey. So these are the two methods. That is, we can we can acquire the spatial data from existing data, or we can create a new data. And this geographically referenced data describe both the location and characteristics of the spatial features. That is, if the data is geographically referenced, it means it will be having some location and characteristics. Then, so GIS therefore involve two geographic data components. That is, GIS data types. It is of two types, that is spatial data and attribute data. So this we have discussed in our last lecture. That is, spatial data means it will describe the location of spatial feature. That is known as spatial data. Spatial data represents the location of spatial features, and attribute data gives the information about the characteristics of that feature. Okay, so through spatial data we represent the location, and through attribute data we will describe the characteristics of that feature. Okay, that is spatial data and attribute data. That is, spatial data, it relates to geometry of spatial features. That is, it represents location, shape, size, orientation and spatial relationship, and in the form of graphic primitive like points, lines, polygons or pixels. Okay, and this may be of discrete or continuous. Discrete means it is individually distinguishable. That is, roads, wells, land use. That is, we can distinguish each features. That is discrete. And continuous means it exists spatially between observation. That is, we cannot differentiate. That is, depth of river, then precipitation at a point, etc. We cannot differentiate. So that is continuous data. Okay, so the sources of this spatial data are paper map, a drawing, digital file imported from CAD, then coordinate data represented by GPS. So these data actually represent the location. So the spatial data actually represents the location of any surface feature. Okay, then attribute data means it describes the characteristics of spatial feature. Okay, that is length, width, etc. Length of some feature, width of some feature, then area of some feature, etc. So that is the characteristics of the spatial feature. That is known as attribute data. Okay, so this is stored in database table and it gives information about the spatial features or characteristics of the spatial feature is represented using attribute data. It is independent of all geometric considerations and various information relevant to particular location. Okay, and descriptive, it is a type of descriptive data, that is what, how much, when, that is represented using this attribute data. And it specifies characteristics of a location, that is length, name, land type, etc. Example, person's height, mass, age, like that. Characteristics of feature is known as attribute data. So these are two types of GIS data, spatial data and attribute data. So first component is over, and this spatial data is entered by digitizing or scanning. Then we can also directly enter the coordinates or conversion of existing data, like that. Okay. Next step is attribute data input and management. That is, attribute data is entered by manual typing or by using or by uploading Excel sheets. That is, attribute data means the characteristics of existing feature. So we can enter this attribute data by manually typing, or we can upload using Excel sheets. Okay. So this attribute data represent as a rows and columns, and row represent the spatial feature and column represent corresponding attribute data. That is, here it is clear. And this feature attribute data table consists of rows and columns, and each row represent, this is one spatial feature, and this column, this is the attribute data of that feature. Okay, for example, this is the label ID, that is, this is the first label ID which is represented as number 1. So this is the spatial data of that feature, and pH and depth is the attribute data of this parameter. Okay, so this column, this row actually represents the spatial feature, and each column represents property or characteristics of the spatial feature, that is attribute data. Like that, we are entering the attribute data. We can enter this manually or we can use Excel. Okay, so this is attribute data input and management. So this is the representation of spatial feature and its attribute data. Next, data display. Data may be spatial or attribute data. It is entered into the GIS, is displayed for checking corrections. So we have to correct when it is displayed on the monitor, we can correct. And data is visualized by maps with different legends and indexed based on the attribute data. That is, this is finally represented as a map, and the features can be identified using different legends, and also index which is based on attribute data. That is, on the final map there will be index, and using this index we can identify different attribute data. Okay. And data exploration means based on the data entered, explore general trend in data, focusing on relationship between data. That is exploration, like data classification, data aggregation, map comparison. That is, finally we are exploring our data for our purpose. Like that, we can do data classification or data aggregation, like. So that is data exploration. Our final data is explored for our choice. Then last one is data analysis. That is, different kinds of data analysis can be done in GIS depending upon our need. So the different analysis are, this analysis is done based on our need, okay, our purpose. So there are different types of analysis methods, and we use the type of analysis which is needed for us, for our work. Okay, so like that we are choosing the analysis type of analysis. So there are different types of analysis like vector data analysis, raster data analysis, terrain mapping and analysis, viewshed and watershed analysis, spatial interpolation, then path analysis and network application. So based on our objective of work, we are choosing the type of analysis. Okay, so some case we want to interpolate the different layers, so for that we are using spatial interpolation. So some cases we have to do watershed analysis, so we are using this watershed analysis and viewshed. Okay, sometimes we have to do the path, we have to find out the shortest route between 2 points, etc., like that. For that we are using path analysis. Okay, so based on our need we are choosing the type of data analysis. So these are some of the data analysis. So here we have to study what is vector data analysis and raster data analysis. Others we are choosing based on our need. So first one is vector data analysis. So a systematic examination of a problem or complex entity in order to provide new information from what is already known. Okay, from existing data we are examining through a systematic method. Okay, so we are finding new information based on our existing data. And spatial analysis is the process that turns raw input spatial data into value added useful data or information that ultimately support decision making and reveals hidden or unknown patterns. Okay, that is we are using our input spatial data and data is finally converted into information, and by analyzing this information we can use do some decision making and reveals our hidden or unknown patterns. That is our final aim. So that is spatial analysis and common vector data analysis. So now we are discussing about vector data analysis. So the vector data analysis tools are buffering, overlay and other feature manipulation tools. That is first one, buffering. Buffering means creating buffer zones with a specific width around a spatial feature. So here we are creating specific width around a spatial feature. That is we are creating buffer zone around a feature. That is buffering. So we can do buffer around a point or buffer around a line or buffer around a polygon. That is in this figure. Here we have created, this is a point, we have created buffer zone around this point. And here there is one line. Okay, this is a line. So we have created buffering around this line. And this is a polygon. And we have created buffering around this polygon or around buffering around a area. Like that we can do three types of buffering. Buffering around a point, example, to find range area of a cell phone tower. That is for example here it is a tower. This point represents tower. So we have to find the range which is covered by this tower. So for that this may be the area which is covered by the which is the range covered by this tower. So we are tracing this area using buffering tool. Okay, that is this is the radius r. So for particular radius r it will be the range which is covered by that tower. So we are inputting that radius and we will get a buffer zone around this point. Okay, like that we are buffering. Next, buffer around a line, example, to find area and location along sides of a road. That is here this is one road. So our aim is to find the area around this road for particular width. Okay, so we are inputting that width value and buffering that line. That is all area within 1000 meters of a road, etc. So we are inputting 1000 meters the buffer length and we are buffering that area. Okay, then buffer around a polygon means to find area affected by factory with contamination. That is, for example, here there is factory. We have to find the area which is contaminated by this factory. So around this area the whole feature will be contaminated. So we are buffering this area. That is all area within 500 meters of a wetland area, like that. Okay, so this is buffering an area. So like that we can buffer a point, a line or a polygon. That is buffering. So here input layer can be point, line or polygon, and output layer contains polygons that encloses all of the steady region within a specified distance of the feature in the input layer. That is same as I have explained. That is area within 5 km of a hospital, that is buffering of a point. Then area within 1 km of a river, that is we are buffering the line feature. Then area within 10 kilometers of a lake, that is we are buffering an area or polygon. Okay, so this is known as buffering. So here also this point layer. So here symbol buffer. Then compound buffer means this buffer will overlap, and nested buffer means here different buffers are nested like this. Next is overlay analysis. Okay, so it is the process of combining different layers to form a new layer. That is combining layers of road, layers of boundaries, layers of water bodies to create new layer of district. Okay, that is we have seen this overlay analysis in our uh, first presentation itself. That is we can overlay different features of an area like road, like lake, etc., and we will get final output. Okay, then spatial data and attribute data are both combined to create an output layer, and feature type of the outer layer will depend on the combination of input layers. So this is the overlay analysis. That is, here there is layer A, here it is layer B. So we are combining layer A and layer B, and we will get the final overlay layer, final output layer like this. So this is overlay analysis. Here also this is the real world, and we have created elevation map, and there is land use map, and these are map of parcels, and this is street, etc., and this is political and administrative boundaries, showing political and administrative boundaries. So we can overlay all these features and we will get the final map. So these are vector data and this is raster data. Okay. Then raster data analysis means, here raster data can be analyzed in many ways, and they are grouped as following heads. That is local raster data analysis. That is, it is the analysis of an individual cell. That is local raster data analysis. And neighborhood data analysis means analysis on neighboring cells. This is the same one cell, and we are analyzing the neighboring of these cells. That is neighborhood data analysis. And zonal data analysis means analysis on a group of cells. Okay. Then global data analysis means analysis on entire raster. So these are the different types of raster data analysis, and our previous one in vector data analysis, it is of two types, that is buffering and overlay analysis. That is the analysis for vector data. And raster data we can analyze by local raster data analysis, and neighborhood data analysis, and zonal data, global data analysis. Okay, so these are the different operations in GIS. Okay, these are the different operations. So spatial data input, attribute data input and management, data display, data exploration, data analysis, and GIS modeling. Okay, thank you.